We're going live from the Tulsa Real Estate Fund page for Treff Talks Tuesdays.
Unmuted.
All right. I'm going to be going live from my page as well, multitasking. And let me get that going. And we're going to begin our Treff Talks live in just a moment. All right. Peace, Tulsa Real Estate Fund family. Peace live stream. Peace those calling in. I am Jay Morrison, founder, CEO of Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And I'm super excited for another Treff Talk Tuesdays. Treff Talk Tuesdays is our platform where we will answer questions live on the air, live Q&A. And we also will take some live stream questions if we get a chance. But this is about our callers. So if everyone goes to my page on Instagram at Mr. J Morrison or the Tulsa Real Estate Fund page at Tulsa Real Estate Fund or there on Facebook, you will see the call-in number 515-604-9995. Guys, right? So I'm going to put that into each live stream before we begin. Thank you for all those calling in. If you want to call in and ask questions, I'm going to type this in right now. And I am quarantining, so I'm a one-man band working from home. Call in tonight. And tonight we're talking about Treff by the numbers, right? That is our theme for tonight. Numbers don't lie. We believe in performance, transparency, and trust here at the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Again, call-in number is 515-604-9995. And King Gene, you want to help me out with the host code real quick, the PIN?
640076.
All right, 1 second. PIN is
640076.
76. All right. And then we're going to give you so I'm doing something on both phones. Right now I'm doing my page. Welcome all Jay Morrison followers, supporters, friends. And then we're going to get on the Treff page and we're going to get this Treff Talk Tuesday started. Tonight's focus tonight, Treff family, is the numbers. Treff by the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I want to talk about part of our vision for transparency in the fund and what that means to us as a community and as a company. So I'm going to pin that for us real quick and Treff will do the same thing. Treff Talks tonight. And that's going to be 515-604. Thank you for those on the call for being patient. We're going to get right to you. We are getting all our housekeeping in order, getting all platforms open as we are promoting the last capital raise of this historic fund, which will be April 29th, will be our last day to be partners and co-owners in the company. And Gene, that PIN number was 640075?
76.
76.
Yes, sir.
Hope I put in the right one the other time. Let's see. Always. I did. 76. And then our website, www.investwithtreff.com. Investwithtreff.com. I'm going to pin this on Tulsa page. Thank you all for your support. Let me pin this and we are rolling. Wonderful. All right, guys. So we're rolling on all platforms. Thank you, team, King Eugene, Queen Jazz, and all our team behind the scenes who are helping us to run our company digitally, run our company remotely, which is not a easy thing to do, but we are making it happen. So shout out to everyone. Thank you all who are tuning in right now, who are calling in, who are watching on Facebook, or who are watching on Instagram. All right, so let's get to it. Exciting times. I want to take you on a quick little journey of a young Black entrepreneur called Jay Morrison. And I'm not going to talk about the poverty. I'm not going to talk about the prison. I'm not going to talk about the life transformation off the street corners of Newark, New Jersey. I'm not going to talk about $1 million by 28. I'm not going to talk about multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio before 30. I'm not going to talk about any of those things. I want to start you all from 2015. Jay Morrison, at that time, entrepreneur.
Jay, quickly, unmute your phone. Unmute your phone.
My bad. I started and no one told me to mute. Well, they did actually tell me to mute. I didn't mute, unmute my phone. So callers, welcome to the call. We've been getting live stream together. I apologize. I have been on since 5:50. But thank you for everyone calling in tonight on the live Q&A. So I want to start tonight off with a quick Black History moment, although it's not February. We practice Black History all year round. And I want to take you guys on a journey of a young Black entrepreneur by the name of Jay Morrison. And I don't want to tell you my whole rise to entrepreneurship, influence, and some family wealth. I want to talk to you guys about the journey starting in 2015, right? So after I had been through bankruptcy, after I've been broke, depressed, divorced, after I've been through prison and paroles and probations, after I've been through the real estate crash, after I've been a landlord, developer, and all those kind of things, I found myself in my early 30s, back in entrepreneurship, but with a purpose and with a mission and a conscious mind for empowering my community. So earlier in my entrepreneurial career, I did well for myself, but I did not have a conscious mind for empowering my community. My conscious mind was for empowering my family and myself and looking good while I do it, and was more of a arrogant person, more of a selfish person, more of a you better get yours kind of person, more of what I call a crab outside the barrel. I was a crab outside the barrel, a crab that made it outside the barrel and felt that it was all your responsibility to make it out yourself. That ain't my business. All I'm worried about is me and my family. So fast forward, as I've been posting on my Instagram, telling you a little bit of my story and journey and this Treff story, I got called into social activism, literally during the Alfred Wright protest in Hempville, Texas. I talk about it in my book, The Solution. Fast forward, after Alfred Wright, Mike Brown happened, and I was gonna fly to St. Louis to be a part of the Ferguson protest and unrest, but it wasn't on my spirit to do so. That would have been just Jay Morrison doing it because everyone was doing it, or just following like my physical intuition, not my spiritual intuition. So I didn't do anything during Mike Brown. Then Eric Garner happened. And Eric Garner was like right in my backyard in Staten Island. I was living in New Jersey at the time. And I didn't do anything in regards to activism or protest with Eric Garner. But something happened when Freddie Gray took place, the Freddie Gray murder and uprising in Baltimore, where something was tugging on me to go to Baltimore and to take action. I literally had made my mind up the night that the CVS was burning and it was all over the news. And then next day, I almost pump faked and I almost bluffed and was like, yo, I'm not going to Baltimore, man. Like, I don't know what's going on down there. I thought of every reason of why I should not drive from New Jersey to Baltimore and spend my hours of my day driving down with one friend of mine and comrade of mine, and us going to Baltimore, not knowing anybody that's in the protests, in the rallies, not even our city, but everything in me said go. So after trying to talk myself out of it, I listened to my spirit. I went to Party City around the corner from my house. I rented a red megaphone because I did learn during my earlier social activism that you need a megaphone if you're going to protest and demonstrate, or your voice is going to be hoarse and you're going to be not heard. So I went to Party City and I paid about $30 for a megaphone and took a 3-hour drive to Baltimore, North and Penn, where the CVS had been burnt down and a lot of, demonstration and revolution was going on. I went right down to ground zero and I'll begin this journey. Now, fast forward all that. During that time, because of my influence during that protest and just my activism, my presence, when BET called for a panel of leaders to discuss solutions for our community, I was called amongst many, many other people to come to BET in New York, where they bust in a bunch of Baltimore residents, even Bloods and Crips of the community, to talk about solutions for the community. During that time in 2015, at the BET panel is when one of the crowd members, participants, said, we need to build a Black Wall Street, yo. And when they said that, I then raised my hand on the panel and said, if we're gonna build a Black Wall Street, whoever's serious, come holler at me after the panel. I said this on the panel at BET. I said, anybody serious about building Black Wall Street, come see me after the panel. And after the panel, a bunch of Bloods and Crips rolled up on me and was like, yo, if you for real, like, we for real. And so I then ended up building in Baltimore after that. I stayed for months, literally. I'm driving back and forth to New Jersey, staying for weeks at a time. And I started building a relationship with local Baltimore leaders, Bloods, Crips, on the ground, et cetera. King Bones, who was like one of their leaders, and others. And I started dissecting, what does a Black Wall Street look like? How do we take a community and not just repair the real estate and the businesses, but repair the people in the community. So in Tulsa Real Estate Fund, you hear me say oftentimes, we don't believe in putting broken people into renovated properties, right? Or hurt or ugly people into pretty houses. And so I started this track of creating a diagnosis for Black Wall Street, for group economics. And I also thought about the business model behind it. I said, well, it's cool to hashtag and tweet Black Wall Street, but how can we all live out of Black Wall Street in real life? So I thought about, in my community, the Black community, or I call it African community in America, I thought about the fact that we often have a high level of mistrust. And usually there's a charismatic figure and some leader who says, give me your money, I'll take care of everything. You guys don't worry about anything. And many times it's in the form of a GoFundMe, a Kickstarter, a collection plate, or some kind of donation. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to offer, and I've seen other influencers go through a lot of challenges trying to raise capital within the community, and there not being enough level of communication, reporting, or transparency. So I was like, all right, if we're going to do this, there has to be reporting. And then it can't be me just looking at my own stuff, because that doesn't offer any checks and balances. So there needs to be some kind of regulation, right? Or some kind of like, again, checks and balance of audit involved. And there needs to be transparency, right? So I was trying to dissect how we can do business together, right? And this is 2015. Mind you, we're in 2020, it's 2015. And so I started doing the research and development, and I ran across the Reg A Tier 2 A+ Jobs Act and this legislation that allowed us to have what we call today the historic Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And what that did was, I want to just talk about it. I'm going to get into the numbers, because this is all part of my dream. This is all part of the vision that our gracious creator gave me and gave us, really gave us through me. It's not even gave me. Our creator gave me this vision for us, gave us this vision, through me. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to make sure when we do this fund, or at the time it was called the fund, but we build this company, we raise these dollars together, we got to make sure there's transparency. I need people to be able to check their accounts. We want to make sure that I just want to make sure that people at all times can have some kind of understanding of what's going on with their investment. Hence our weekly Trev Talk Tuesdays. Sometimes we might miss a couple of weeks, but essentially we go weekly or at least monthly. Our monthly newsletters, the email blast communications, the digital access to computer share your account, right? All those things were intentional to try to give us as much, transparency as possible. And there's a lot of moving parts in this company. So anyway, we want to do that. Secondly, our end of the year financial reports and our financial audit. So every year we are audited by a third-party CPA and auditor that is not employed by us and that holds their license sacred, and they review our financials every year and our transactions, our contracts, our agreements, it's a beast. It is a process to go through a third-party independent auditor in real life. Like they ask, it all has to line up and make sense. And then an auditor gives an independent opinion at the end of each year. So last year's opinion, where they had no adverse opinion about our company financials last year. Right now, we're going through our financials again this year. And we'll do that every year. We have to do a financial statement and an audit. So the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, as skeptical as skeptics may want to be about the fund, that's why I say men lie, women lie, numbers don't, is our actual financials are online. Like we report them to sec.gov. They're in our 1U and K1 file. Amendment statements and all that. So our financial report financials are right there. And if there was anything unscrupulous going on, the auditor's responsibility is to catch that, to report that, or to cause some kind of question to that, right? And so that's by a third-party auditor. Not to mention our own internal controls, bookkeeping, accounting, treasury department, and my own personal fiduciary responsibility and reputational responsibility to make sure that we are doing everything as by the book as possible and as responsible as possible for all of our partners, for all of our 9,000 plus partners, right? So that's all part of the transparency that we are getting into. So fast forward from then, we end up doing the research, doing the work, and we know in 2018, we launched the historic Tulsa Real Estate Fund, right? And so I want to go over, I'm going to get the question and answers. So everybody calling in, we're going to get to your questions. I want to give some framework of where we're at. And then I want to go over just some updated numbers. I mean, I literally got off the phone with our CFO, Chief Financial Officer, earlier today, and our CFO was able to give us, just some updated portfolio numbers. I mean, that's a big thing. We've invested, we've raised millions. It's a constant Instagram question. Where's the money? Because people, they're not part of our fund many times, or they don't read their emails. And so people aren't seeing the newsletters or the portfolio updates. I mean, I've done extensive 2-hour-long portfolio update videos. So our fund partners who check their emails know there is a high level of communication and transparency because we're always communicating, right? I mean, I've literally done whole performers on the wall, screen shares with our CFO, a team, breakdowns, right? All of that, good, the bad, and the ugly, we break it down. Nevertheless, I want to go over for you all who are on live, who are either partners of ours, thinking about being partners of ours, thinking about investing more, on the fence, or just want to know, right? And maybe want to do a fund of your own one day and leverage some of our experiences. I want to give you guys just an update on where we're at with our, financials. So, and this is the most recent update. Let me get this from Don real quick. And as I do that, Queen Jazz, we're going to jump into a couple of calls. So I'm waiting to get a document. And, I want to go over really quickly, guys, for you, a fund portfolio just highlight, right? Like we know we have over 9,700 partners, close to over 10,200 partners, co-owners, equity owners. We've raised over 8.75 million in capital. But I want to tell you what we did, what we accomplished, where the money's at, where it went, like full transparency. Like I got 3 cameras on and 1 camera streaming to 2 different devices and we on call. Like this full transparency. Like Tulsa Real Estate Fund, we don't got nothing to hide. We want to be the example of group economics for our community, as we are the 2nd largest act of group economics practiced by a Black-owned company in the history of America, right? That's what we represent, the 2nd largest since Marcus Garvey and the Black Star Line, and we are the 1st largest act of group economics by a Black-owned company in the last 100 years in real life. So, for non-accredited and accredited investors. So, I want to show you what all that means, though, in real life. So did you send it? Let's see. I want to make sure I got our full report for us. Queen Jazz, can we go to a couple questions for those who might have chimed in early on our Q&A session? Let's take some questions real quick while I want to get our most up-to-date portfolio so fresh off the press is even being emailed to me now. Peace, King.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, my name is Alex. I'm from Camden, New Jersey, man, and I admire everything that you do, man. And I just started following you on IG, man. And I praise you as a young man and how enlightened I am and moved by what you're doing. Now, my quick question is this. That $500 investment as an individual into the trust fund, with this pandemic going on and how the economy is going on, how much of an impact would that affect your company as a trust fund?
All right, so I want to correct. It's a Tulsa Real Estate Fund. It's not a trust fund, but it is a fund. It's a crowd fund, an equity fund. And look at it like this. A $500 investment, right? That's your investment for shares or member units of ownership in the company. How it affects our company is this way. 80,000 individuals investing $500 is 40 million overnight.
Okay.
40,000 people investing $500 is 20 million overnight. 20,000 individuals investing $500 is 10 million overnight. And on and on and on and on. The point being is that a $500 investment into the company gives our company more capital to go out into what we anticipate to be a distressed market, in a depressed real estate market coming out of this pandemic. And we know that, as Don Peoples has said, capital is the fuel to entrepreneurship in real estate development. We are a fund. So the more that we have in capital, or how better capitalized that we are, the better our position and strength to go tackle opportunities in this market, whether it be in cash acquisitions or developments and or leverage with other financial institutions. So that's our opportunity.
Okay.
As a company. As an individual, what that means is that everyone has to check what they can financially afford and understand it's a long-term investment, and understand that this fund is really an investment for your legacy, for your heirs. It's an investment into social good in our community, and it's a passive investment. And it's of course not guaranteed, like no investment is guaranteed, but it is an opportunity for us to participate in something which many of us have wanted to participate. Now, if you had no interest in participating, or this conversation doesn't warm, not saying you can, I'm talking to everybody, but doesn't warm you in participating in group economics or cooperative economics or economic unity or passive investing or whatever, then cool, it's just not for you. But there's been some of us who have been wondering for years and decades, how can we pull our dollars together? That question has been asked amongst many of us for a long time, and we didn't have a vehicle. So the fund was about creating a vehicle in order for us to do so. That's what it was about. And this is just the first of what we hope to be many examples of this kind of economic unity, whether we are the leaders in it or we consult in it or participate. We have the most experience in the Black community, in the African community in America right now. The Tulsa Real Estate Fund has the most experience of any Black-owned organization in regards to real estate equity crowdfunding. That's a fact. We're the first, the largest, and the only Black-owned real estate crowdfund in our community right now, active today, raising capital. So hopefully we can contribute our experiences and what we've learned during this 2-year process to the rest of the community to do something even larger. We got to stop thinking so macro and so small and think it's about Jay Morrison or it's about Treff or it's about some influencer showing off because of Instagram followers. I'm not built like that. I'm trying to not show off, but I'm trying to show us. I'm trying to show us that, yo, if we can raise 8.7 million from 9,700 plus people, Dad, what can we do from 97,000 people? It's bigger. Like, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than Treff. It's bigger than this last 2 years. Like, we get so caught up in the micro, and we get so caught up in the pennies, we forget about the dollars. And that's what this fund is all about. It's about what can we do together in the next 3 to 5 years, 7 years? Can we manage can we have $20, $50 million funds, which is essentially 1 million people investing $1,000. That's $1 billion of assets under management. That's the kind of time that I'm on. This fund is just an example. That's all this was for. It was for an example, opportunity for passive investment, opportunity for proof of concept, opportunity to show transparency, an opportunity to take on all the trailblazing, pioneering crap that we had to take on to have a better position for our community in the conversation of group economics. Because we could say, you know what, damn, J&M, they did that. But we ain't got to talk about it no more. We actually got a model to see that how it's done, and we can improve upon our model. Our model's not perfect, but it's progress. So that's what it looks like, King. And thank you for your question. I'm going to go into one more, and then I got my email I was looking for, and I want to go over the numbers of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Treff, thank you guys for joining. Jay Maypace, thank you for joining. All the faithful, thank you for joining. We'll take one more Q&A, and then I'm going to go into the actual numbers of our portfolio numbers, the financial numbers of the real estate fund.
Hello, hi.
Hey, peace, Queen.
Respect me.
Thank
Just want
you.
to let you know you are super awesome. So I have a question about, I just need some clarification on qualifying plans. It was my intention to transfer some money from 401k to this funding, but I'm just not clear on exactly if that's legal or can I do that?
So if in most cases, I mean, every 401k plan is different, but for those who have a 401k, you have to talk to your 401k kind of provider. But typically how it works is if you are in and I'm going to give you an email to email for our team can assist you. But if you are in a 401k that's in a previous company, a previous employer, it's an older 401k, it's usually easier. If it's a 401k from an active job, it gets a little more sticky. And they would have to, depending on your plan, have to walk you through that. But typically you can roll over your 401k to a self-directed IRA, and from there invest into our fund as an opportunity for you to diversify your portfolio or to invest in our company. And for you, Queen, or anyone that wants to do that, you guys can email info@tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. You could put in your subject line 401k investment, please, so we can know to try to segment that for you. 401k investment in the subject line, info@tulsa-real-estate-fund.com for those looking to roll over into our fund.
Excellent, thank you. Just one more question.
Sure.
So I'm not clear on this investment will grandfather me into the funding. Will it also allow me to add to the funding as I see fit?
Add to it in which way?
If I give you $2,000 today, can I give you $2,000 next week after the 29th?
No, so yeah, so I'm glad you said that. So unfortunately, family, and it's gonna be a big conversation for tonight because we talk about numbers. In order for us to be in a compliant position to pay dividends, because we need to pay dividends and distributions, right? And we're working our way to profitability from our assets to do so. But we have to stop raising capital in order to be in the best compliant position to pay dividends. If we're raising active capital still, and then we're trying to pay people dividends on our profits, it can be looked at as a commingling, or it could be a question raised. Are you guys paying people profits on new money raised or off of actual assets and performance? So to not have a question mark around our fund of, is it a Ponzi scheme? And are you using new capital to pay old investors, right? To avoid that, our legal team advised and counsel advised, it is best to have a final capital call on our raise. We're not closing the fund. It's just the last capital call for raising capital within our fund. And then through our performance, we can begin to pay dividends as we perform and go down that line. So there would not be another opportunity to invest in this fund after midnight, April 29th, 2020.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna get to the numbers. Someone did ask, is our plan to invest in different communities? So I want everyone to understand our investment model. Our model of investing in Tulsa Real Estate Fund is not just Tulsa developing and investing. We do develop, and we have development assets that we currently own. Free and Clear, the Legacy Center, 30,000 square foot building, 2.6 acre campus. Our 98 units apartment complex in Macon is a leveraged property. We own that apartment complex worth about $4+ million. Legacy Center worth $3.5+ million on estimate. And other assets, right, that we either own or that we fund. So we do function as a syndication partner or private lender, which we've funded several minority and Black development companies around the country. We're not picking different markets. So our fund is not like, hey, we're picking this city, this block. And now mind you, we may find, like in Macon, Georgia, we did buy back 2 blocks. That was the 98 unit apartment complex. That was 2 blocks. 98 units is a lot of units. I'm gonna post a video tomorrow. If y'all haven't noticed, we do own 2 whole blocks of 98 units in which we control. So we have bought back the block in Macon, Georgia. We have bought nearly a half a block in East Point at our Legacy Center. So we are effectively doing that, but we're also funding the investments of others like Queen Saran, who had a 14 unit complex in Lake Charles, Louisiana, who we funded and closed on that deal. Like the Queens and from the CEO of our Miro Street investment in New Orleans, where we funded a 7 unit development project, or the multiple Black owned firms in Cincinnati and Nashville and here in Atlanta that we funded also. So we focus as a developer, but also as a private partner and private lender, depending on the scenario. If any of you all have a deal or opportunity you want to link with us on, partner with us on, bring to the firm, go to tulsa-real-estate-fund.com and you'll see an opportunity to submit a deal as well, or you can email us. So let me get into some of the numbers. I want to answer a couple of those questions. Thank you everybody for chiming in. Please like, share, subscribe. Listen, you don't get many fund managers of multi-million-dollar real estate or other funds who do multiple stream lives. I'm live 5 times right now. Live call, 4 live platforms, and we do this often. This is what we call transparency. The founder is not running anywhere, not hiding anywhere, because we're doing our best work. We're doing our best job for the company, for the community. So I want to go over a few numbers with you all on our portfolio, right? So you can take notes. I don't want to disclose all the information because everyone isn't a partner and everyone don't need to be in all of our business. But we can give a pretty decent level of transparency. So right now under the fund, we have interest in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 assets. We have interest in 9 different assets, ranging from Class A office space to multiple apartment complexes, to student housing, to residential real estate assets, to multifamily residential real estate assets, and in every function from owner, developer, lender, partner, right? Second mortgage, bundle mortgage. We've done all these economic functions to help participate in these different projects. Now, of these nine projects, our total portfolio value. So you guys know we've raised reportedly between 9,700 somewhere around 10,200 investment partners. So we'll say nearly 10,000 investment partners, roughly. We've raised $8.7 million, roughly. These are all estimates. I got to say that because if I say the wrong thing, they'll try to, pick at me and hang me. So all projections, all estimates. Let me disclaim that and disclose that. But from our nearly 10,000 partners, we've invested over $8.75 million, and our current portfolio value to date is $12.8 million. So the value of the assets that our capital is invested in, either through mortgage, lending, or debt, or through direct acquisition, or through equity of a down payment in a purchase of a property, right? We have a down payment on our apartment complex. So no matter how we participated, our total value of those assets is $12.8 million. So again, raised $8.75 million, a little north of that. Value of our portfolio right now, the stabilized value of our portfolio right now, $12.86 million. Stabilized value meaning once the developments are done and once we reach our projected rent rolls and occupancy and revenue, NOI, net operating income of these assets, right? So excuse me, that was not as is, that is stabilized value once they are complete, $12.8 million, all right? Our level of commitment into these assets right now, or has been, $7.6 million, right? So we have $7.6 million of capital committed, and mind you, we are still running the company on a day-to-day for the last 2 years. But that stabilized value we're anticipating or projecting is $12.8 million. The full collateral value, meaning, and when I say stabilized value, that means the value in which TREF looks to receive or profits gained from those investments. The actual full value of our 9 assets we have participation in, the actual full collateral value, meaning the market value of all these assets, is actually $16.1 million. So the amount of real estate that we are involved in is $16.1 million in real estate, much of which we have lent to private lenders or developed directly ourselves. The Legacy Center we own free and clear with no mortgage and no lending partners, right? These are assets that our company owns. And now all we are doing is working towards leveraging the assets, developing the assets, stabilizing the assets, renting the assets, making the best use of the assets so that we go forward and become profitable as a company. That's it. And keep working the company. We're making our last capital raise. So what happens is, to give you some insight, as we lend and fund one person's deal, they may have a 12-month interest-only payment mortgage or whatever that might be. They might get a 12-month extension. So we're getting mortgage interest every month, right? Inevitably, that person pays off that mortgage. We get all our capital back, plus the profits from any fees, and then we put that money back out into the market, right, into another asset and opportunity. Legacy Center, for instance, we own that free and clear, right? But that doesn't stop us, which we're doing right now, from contacting other banking institutions, Black-owned banks right now, who we're speaking to, about giving us a small mortgage on the Legacy Center so we can take that $1 million or $2 million and then go fund other people or do other deals or developments and keep building up the business that way. So all we're doing is basic real estate functions and using real estate, leverage, mortgages, private lending, interest, points, fees, balloon payments, and all these different instruments, using them to turn revenue and income for our company as we are building this institution. All right, so boom, numbers. Our projected ROI annualized, meaning, so when you invest into our company or for any previous investor, obviously you are due or eligible for an 8% preferred return, right? So that means before any profits get split, our investors get an 8% return first. It's preferred first. And so our investors, our full fund projected ROI annualized, meaning if you, and mind you, the 8% is cumulative, meaning it adds up each year. So our first year investors did not receive a dividend, but they do still get the credit of the 8% that was eligible the first year. Same thing for the second year or any year that a dividend or distribution doesn't happen, you are still eligible for that as these long-term investments get stabilized and perform. For many of us, if we have not been a part of commercial assets or forced value, which is what it's called in the industry, multifamily stabilization or re-tenanting a whole 98-unit complex, these things take time. And there's just moving parts involved, not to mention a global pandemic. So much of our contractors and many things couldn't happen during this time because of things that are happening now. And it's just doing business, it's just real estate. So as we are re-tenanting our 98 units, we find out that there's a leak on a roof, we gotta fix that. Or we find out that there's a ward or something, or we find out that whatever. It's just doing business. These things take time, but our projected ROI annualized by 2024, meaning everyone being caught up on their payments and dividends, by 2024, the portfolio and weighted average would be 24.62 for our fund in regards to performance on our assets at 24.62. Actual performance to our investors is, I'm going to get that number for us right now. And I'm going to take question and answers. Please take notes. I know I'm saying a lot, but I want to give you guys just track by the numbers. Again, where we're at. Over 9,700 investors, maybe a little north of 10,000 investors, 8.75 raised in capital, collateral value of our assets over 16 million, stabilized value of our assets about 12.8 million, projected, these are all projected numbers, and projected stabilized ROI on our whole portfolio, 24% or better in our 4-year hold in 2024. Let's talk about our investors. So if we read, and mind you, we did all these projections very conservatively, like the worst kind of case, so that way we are hopefully under promising and over delivering. So everything I'm saying to you is not us hyping it up as if everything went right, this is what we'll get. These are kind of like if things kind of went wrong and some values were decreased. And we consider that the market might be depreciating, right? We consider all that in our latest financials. We're doing this as conservatively as we can, but still realistic. And so our fund performance IRR to our investors, meaning everyone being caught up in dividends and distributions, and if we were to liquidate the fund in 2024 and sell everything and pay everybody back everything, and we didn't want to hang on to this for future years, which I think we should, but nevertheless, our fund IRR back to our investors would be projected on our conservative projections in our pro forma 8.83% by 2024. That's with performance of the Legacy Center. That's also considering much of this debt, like these loans. We look at, as we get these loans back, we'll recycle that capital back into the market and loan it out again. And we're looking at if our investments have an average of about 21 to 22% return annually on our investments, we would meet our 24% average if we kept recycling that money at 21% every year. And Legacy Center performs as we believe it will. And the other, we keep our costs down. And as we have projected in our financial models, we anticipate from a 2024 hold period, everyone being paid, caught up, dividends, distributions at an 8.83 projected IRR by 2024. That's the numbers as we see TREF opportunity today, which for a new fund and for a new company in a real estate crowd fund, we are not upset with that opportunity to have equaled 8.83% annually for our company partners, co-partners, and for our community members and abroad of folks who have believed in us and this vision. So that's our goal, is to actually beat those numbers, but essentially to meet those numbers, beat those numbers this year, as once the Legacy Center gets back open after the pandemic, and as we have some of our other projects kind of panning out, we got to refinance for planning one of our bigger assets. So, a few other financial moves. I don't want to give away all our strategies, because if I do, they can be infiltrated. So I can't say every strategy we have, right? I got to protect some of our, proprietary strategy information. But we do hope, no promise, but we do hope to begin distributions sometime this summer or by this summer or no later this fall, distributions of dividends to start making our payback and distribution towards our dividends and inevitably catching up on our dividends as our assets perform. It's all about performance. And so we believe with the new capital raised, with our existing capital and assets that we have, remember we have deals coming back. All the time people are closing out on opportunities or deals. Unfortunately, we had to foreclose on one deal. Like we're doing real estate business. Like we got to make things happen, right? But from that, we protect ourselves by making sure when we loan out capital, we're doing it at a low cost ratio to the market value. So we liquidate these assets, we bring in new cash, we're going to raise our cash by April 29th, and then we're going to the market and we are funding our community, we're funding projects, we're partnering on projects, and we're just creating opportunity. We're going to the land banks, we're going to the city, we're going to the tax auctions, and we just going to work. We're just putting in work with the current assets, the current chessboard, the current company, the current members, the current co-partners, and we want you all to be marketers and partners. You're our co-partner. So we want you to bring in deals and opportunities too, and market and promote the fund too, and all of that good stuff. So this is where we stand as a fund right now. Like this is the books. For our last year's books, you can see our investments. Right now, again, we have a lot of capital out in the street. We have up to $7.6 million committed right now, like in the street, like working for us. And so those things take time to come back, and we're monitoring that. We have a portfolio management team. We have a real estate analyst. We have, again, our third-party administrator. We have 2 investor relations specialists. We have our actual project managers, our contractors. We've employed, so trust by the numbers, and I'm going to Q&A. I want to make sure this number was also hit. We've employed nearly, between our contractors, our internal staff, our vendors, and all our projects, we've employed nearly 100 minority vendors, contractors, or staff members. We have, people don't understand the full economic impact of TREF. All the plumbers, the electricians, the realtors, the engineers, the project managers, the general contractors, the painters, the roofers, customer service, investor relations, the admins, portfolio managers, the real estate analysts, the operations managers, all these folks that we are running this full company and that we've employed through our efforts. So this is like recycling our dollar. So we're raising capital. We've invested nearly $1 million to 2 Black women on developments, millions on our several developments that we've done or through our other development partners, right? Millions that we've invested. And then we've used mainly and mostly minority or Black owned vendors and contractors in our projects, recirculating our same dollars that we just raised. Like that is group economics, no matter how you want to look at it. And we don't need any celebrity to come save us. We don't have to depend on one Oprah, one Jay-Z, one LeBron, one Diddy, one T.I., or one Floyd Mayweather, someone to come save us and come restore the Black community. It's on all of us to come chip in, and those even outside of our community who see a plight and have a heart for empowering our community. But it's our responsibility first as Africans in America to come together where we can, without saying them and they should come save us. Whether that means a system, whether that means a hip hop artist, whether that means an actor, actress, or entertainer, is no one person, not even Jay Morrison's responsibility to come save us. It is all of our job to chip in together, whether we could TREF or not TREF, but to chip in together and do something about the condition in our community. Tulsa Real Estate Fund is one example because we were intentional about taking action and to stop hashtagging, blogging, and tweeting. And we actually got the work. And although, just like President Obama, when President Obama was running from Senate to president, they said he can't make it as this first-term senator to get the presidency nomination. Then he did that. Well, he ain't never gonna win. Then he did that. Then, you know what I mean? So it's the same kind of concept. It's, we can't come together and raise the capital. Boom, we did that. Oh, well, they're gonna run off with the money. All the audits and financials are right there. Nobody ran off with anything. Boom, that's done. Well, they not gonna make returns. We can always come back to try to find and to try to be dismissive of our accomplishments and try to find and poke holes and kick tires in our progress. But I'll tell you what, President Obama, if it was not for him in the jobs legislation that he passed in 2015, there would be no Tulsa Real Estate Fund. There was no opportunity for non-accredited investors and working class people to invest alongside of wealthy people and institutions in a private fund operation. That only happened because of President Obama and the Jobs Act. Now, if there were no Tulsa Real Estate Fund, there would be no equitable group economics right now in our community from a perspective of ownership and equity in a company that's about repairing and restoring our community, because not one exists. So we can keep always, and mind you, I'm a perfectionist. So I have, if I could do this again, over again, I would do it differently. When we do the next fund, I would do it differently. Of course, as an entrepreneur, your first business, your second business is going to be your first flip. Your second flip is going to be, you're going to learn from your first flip, right? So we're going to learn from this model, but we have certainly made progress, and not just because my words say it, because the numbers say it. Like, again, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The numbers have said that we've raised capital, we've showed unity, we've grown a portfolio, we have clear projections, we have a clear route to progress, and we have funded, employed, and brought on partners. We made 9,700 plus people business owners of commercial real estate in real life. Those are numbers that don't lie. And we have a clear path to our projections and the growth of our portfolio. That's what we can offer. So anyway, let's take on some Q&A. Track by the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Any questions you guys got on our portfolio, on your investment, on the opportunity, any questions, I'm more than happy to, to chop it up. Queen Jazz, what we got?
Hello? Hello?
And I'll look at
Hello?
I'll look at some of our live stream questions in the meanwhile.
Okay. I think they said I can ask the question.
You can. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Good evening to you. Anyway, I'm calling you. I'm sorry. You seem like it appears you answered my question that I had when you spoke earlier, because I am a real estate developer here in Philadelphia, and I'm doing a major development in a very prominent area, actually is where I grew up at. And my first phase is that I've been looking for additional funding because I already invested a lot of my own money.
Okay.
And I wanted to find out where I could spend to get information to see if this would be something that you guys would be interested in doing, and just to give you an idea of how my vision is and what it's about.
Well, Queen. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't cut you off. Go ahead. Yep. Give me a short elevator on the vision, please.
Oh, well, I'm not going to do very long. My vision is that the area that I'm developing in, I am going to be there for the next 3 to 4 years, and we're looking at over that time frame, it's going to be anywhere from easily about to 300 million.
Sweet. So what I would love for you to do, if you go to our website, if you don't see the Invest Now, I think we're forwarding our website to another site that may not have it. I do want you to email info@tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. But if you go to our website, tulsa-real-estate-fund.com, info@tulsa-real-estate-fund.com, and you can submit that opportunity, and our real estate team will get it. We do usually have a direct access on our website, so try our website, tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. There may be a submit a deal tab still there. I know we were tinkering with the site, but we'd love to hear more about your vision opportunity. But you are an example of what we want to do, is to look at these opportunities and see how we can all partner together and use our capital to bring our visions to life. And so I appreciate you for the call, and thank you for participating tonight. Queen Jazz, when we get to the next caller. Yes, ma'am.
No, I was just going to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yep, and I don't want to rush you. I just want to try to get to as many people as possible while we can within the hour. I appreciate your call. There was a couple questions on live stream I want to get to real quick. So one was computer share. So yes, when you join the fund, when you see computer shares, that's our third party transfer agent. That's where you will look at your account and your account statement. Two, someone said something about the dividend piece again. I want to answer this a million times so we all get it. When can investors pull dividends? Dividends and distributions we are aiming for this year to begin that process, but it only happens upon quarterly or monthly profitability. Our accounting team likes quarterly better. I'm going to push for monthly, but when we have a quarter, we look at all of our expenses, right? All the operating expenses, all the capital expenses, all the investment expenses, and we are profitable over that quarter or that period, then we pay out or can pay out, eligible to pay out distributions of dividends. So we're working on that. That's our next big news, right? That we want to work towards is, hey, guess what? Everybody got a check. And we're working on a way to make that check electronic because it costs like $10,000 just to send out distributions to the amount of investors we have. I don't want to spend $10,000 in mail when that could have went into our fund partners' pockets, right? So we're going to work on electronic distributions of dividends, but that happens upon profitability. And remember, we're involved in some larger real estate development assets like the Legacy Center. Phase 2 is coming this summer, and our 98-unit Treadway apartment complex in Macon. So those things take a little more time than a residential fix and flip. So we're working on the dividend piece. So we'll go to the next caller on the phone.
Caller 347, you're live. Caller 347, if you're on mute, can you unmute your phone, please? Okay, we're gonna take the next caller.
Yep.
Caller 313.
Yes, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Are you well? Yep.
Hey, how you doing, King? You doing good, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm from Detroit. I live in Broad, and I'm 59 years old. I'm looking at the investment that you guys got going on. I invested $500 last year. I'm thinking about increasing it. Jay, have you heard of some rumors and information going on YouTube where people are saying this is a scam, he's closing the business? Have you heard anything or seen anything like that?
Yes, I've gotten multiple links sent to me, and I hear that people who aren't members of our fund, to my knowledge, who are not the fund managers, I know for a fact, are telling the world that the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is closing. It's closing down. It's over. It's failed. It's a wrap. This is a scam. That is a diversion tactic. That is a divide and conquer lie diversion tactic. If I want to be extreme about it, I call it COINTELPRO psychological warfare to put out misinformation that's just not true. Our fund is open. Our fund is not closing. We're having our final capital call, our final capital raise, like most funds have. They all have a enter the raise, and we're going on about our business.
Exactly. That's one reason why I wanted to get on this live call, because I got too many all types of video screens.
Right, but what's the merit? And the thing is, unfortunately, is that we don't dive as deep and say, well, what's the merit of that, right? What made them credible to say that, and what's the merit of them and the fund manager right here all day, every day, and my address is 3015 R. Martin Street, the big black house, the Legacy Center. We're not going nowhere. We're here.
Exactly. I believe in everything that you're doing. Like I said, I'm 59 years old. I'm 60. My son is 45. And get him involved so he can be the future. To have a legacy of our family to help invest and develop, like you're doing, capital as a group to make this thing work for all.
Thank you, King. I appreciate your confidence. I appreciate you getting your family involved. I think this is if you can afford it and it works with your investment model, I won't call it great. I have to be careful with all my words. I would say it's a reasonable, and I think it's an attractive, for me anyway, financial investment for my family and for my heirs. Like, if many of us think about the things that we spend $500 or $1,000 on that we ain't never see back and don't even have a memory of, imagine having $500 investment for 10 member units of this company for your heirs, so that in 12 years and however many years or whatever, they can say, hey, listen, I've owned an apartment complex since this age. I've owned a piece of the black. Imagine your kids being able to come to Atlanta, drive by the black house and be like, yeah, I own a piece of that. that value is more than many of the things that we frivolously and from liability consumer perspective spend $500 or $1,000 or $2,500 on. Not to mention that that investment not only gives them the morale boost of assets and ownership, but also we will hope and working on will produce dividends and produce ROI. So like, that's what this is about. It should be a, you know, again, everybody's a different investment model. For me and for many I talk to, they're excited about this being something for their children and down the line. They can talk about, you know, like right now I'm 39. Imagine when we were 19, somebody put us into a fund like this. And now 20 years later, we could say we're part of this historical company and the returns that we hope it to create. Well, thank you again, King, for your time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
All right, we're gonna try to get like, let's go rapid fire, 30-second questions, rapid fire. I'm gonna give quick answers, rapid fire.
Hey, what's up, Jay?
Hey, King, peace. Let's
How
go.
you doing, Jay?
I'm well, thank you. What you got for us?
All right. I was a JMA student in the second year to start in this, right? And I was wondering, is it possible we still have access to our courses? Because I didn't went through hardship, crazy.
I don't know what course you got, but email support@jay-morrison-academy.com, support@jay-morrison-academy.com, and they can search you and look you up. All right?
All right.
God bless.
One more thing, and then I'm gone. Are y'all in chat? Are they looking for birds on?
Not essentially, no, but if you get any great opportunities, you're always willing to, you know, able to send them in. All right, appreciate you, King. We'll go to our next caller. And I'm looking online as well.
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hey, Jay, what's going on? My name is NT Zuch. I'm calling from Boston, man. Salute to everything you're doing, man. I'm a firm believer. So, last night I invested, you know, I bought in. So my question is, before the 29th, when you guys wrap up with the end of the month, is it possible for us to, you know, invest more? Because obviously last night I had my opportunity to invest, but I didn't quite get the chance to go to the website and see if there's a place for me to go and invest more before the 29th, before it closes out. Yes.
So yeah, anyone can invest at investwithtreff.com or tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. We just made a new page called investwithtreff.com because it sounded cool and it was a really easy page to read all the facts and stats. But either way, anyone can invest by midnight, April 29th, whether you're a previous investor or a new investment partner. And I don't even like investor because y'all co-owners or potential co-owners, potential partners. You know what I mean? Like we own this company together. It's not you just donating to Jay or investing in something blindly. It is a passive investment, but it is for partnership and ownership. And by April 29th, yes.
Much better ring to it that way.
Yeah, much better ring, much better ring. I wanted to give a big shout out. Thank you, King. I appreciate you. And I look forward to your partnership. I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the comments who has something positive to say. Many times as influencers, we focus on one negative thing out of 100 positive comments. And I want to highlight all the positive love and support for what we're doing. We cannot control. It don't matter if it's Jay-Z, if it's LeBron, if it's Oprah, Barack Obama, Jesus, Malcolm Martin, Marcus Garvey. There has not been a movement, there has not been an influencer, there has not been a leader, there has not been a company that does not have some kind of antagonist, some kind of detractors, or some kind of skeptics. It just doesn't exist. There's nothing I can do. We can open up our entire books, the whole thing, and they'll say, yeah, the books are good now because you're setting us up for later. Like there's nothing you can do to satisfy everybody to make, especially Black people, believe that Black people can make or raise millions and do the right thing by the people. We offer transparency. You see our physical assets. You see us in the streets. You see us empowering our people. Like there's nothing more we can do if you're committed. But I want to focus on that energy. I want to focus on those who see the opportunity, who are participating in opportunity, who see history in our midst. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for all the warm words of encouragement to me. It goes a long way when you say positive things. And I want to encourage you guys to not get into Instagram feuds, but to clap back and respond back to a lot of the BS and stuff that you guys see. Don't leave it up to me and our social media team. I need the support of all my co-partners and co-owners in this movement. And standing on, we know we have something solid in our fund. So we'll go to a couple more callers and we'll get out of here. I think Tulsa Real Estate Fund page is counting down. I might cut off on the IG Live. We'll be on the live stream though if IG goes out. See you guys soon. Investwithtreff.com. Don't forget, investwithtreff.com. All right, so we'll go to some more callers on our call line.
Hello, hi. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. Yeah, peace.
Yeah, peace to everyone on the phone. I just wanted to share something quick, man. I really appreciate what you're doing, man. There's a lot of due diligence on what you're doing. And just to share, you probably already read it already. There's a great book out there about this guy named A.G. Gaston in like the 50s and 60s. And it's where Martin Luther King and like Malcolm X and all these people stayed in his hotels. He was a real estate investor. He was black. And he did it in a time that really brought and he made like $200 million back then. And his name is A.G. Gaston, and it's kind of really inspiring. So he had ideas comparable to what you're doing now, but he was predominantly a real estate investor. So I just wanted to share that. His name is A.G. Gaston. His two daughters wrote a book. His granddaughters actually, a biography.
I've actually heard the name, and you know what? There's been a lot of real estate investors and entrepreneurs who are not on the forefront of our civil rights movement and human rights movement, but help fund the movement. And help create the assets and the campaigns. I appreciate that contribution.
So I just wanted to share that. What you're doing is amazing. And I already contributed to you, and I'm going to be, before the deadline, I'm going to invest some more as well. I just wanted to say thanks.
All right, cool. Someone said, what numbers did we show? So what we talked about, we showed our amount raised. We showed the value of our portfolio. We, upon stabilization, we showed the collateralized value of all of our assets above 16 million. We showed our projected IRRs on our fund, our whole period by 2024, when we anticipate or hope for dividends this year. We showed our investor IRR of 8.8%, our investor projected IRR within the fund, just so everyone gets a recap of Treff by the numbers. We'll make sure we get this out in an email. Please join our email list as well, tulsa-real-estate-fund.com. So we'll go to a couple more callers and we're out. Okay, so guys, actually, the Queen, I got one more, and Queen Ernestine Morrison needs these devices. I'm booted. Go ahead, Queen.
No, never mind.
That's it?
I was going to say we have 4 calls in the queue, but if we're just taking one.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm going to go live again tonight from my page of Tulsa Real Estate Fund for more questions. We'll continue this. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Please like and share and comment to your Facebook pages. Thank you for all of our partners and those who appreciate the opportunity. Love y'all. Peace. We out. Treff Life for Life. Investwithtreff.com by April 29th. Investwithtreff.com. Minimum $500 investment to be a part of the second largest active group economics by Black-owned company in history. Peace.